Hello, I'm best-selling thriller novelist J. Luke Bennecke. Today we're going to discuss active voice and the importance of verb upgrades. Sometimes this can trip up a lot of beginning writers. We don't really talk using passive voice, I'll call it action impaired voice. I don't know why, but if you write that way, it's basically boring and not very efficient. You end up with wordy sentences. And readers expect to read active voice. So, and obviously don't confuse this with past tense, like he walked, she ran, they yelled. Past, passive, those are obviously two different things. So here's an example, quick story. Some dad back in the 1970s, there's a toddler out in front on a tricycle, dad goes in, decided to get a call, he's in there for a minute, he comes back out, and there sits the lonely tricycle. No toddler. You might write, as he was being walked by his legs toward the bike, he was calling her name loudly. Okay, obviously several things to unpack. There are multiple issues. There is passive voice in there. You definitely want to avoid passive voice. I'm not going to get into the grammar of that, but you could tell how horrible that sounded, the first part. So obviously try to avoid passive voice. And then even if you wrote, as he was walking toward the bike, as he was walking toward the bike, this is, I'll call it again, action impaired. It's more wordy than it needs to be. Less words are always better. It tightens up your writing. And there's opportunities there to upgrade your verbs. Verbs, remember, verbs drive your story forward, especially in thrillers. So there's an opportunity to be specific with exactly what's happening here. And it's important to always be as exact as possible with your verbs. So this gives a nice, clear image in the reader's mind. So he could say yell, he yelled her voice, or he yelled her name. Nothing wrong with that, but maybe upgrade it to belted out her name 3 times. It's better than yell, it's a little more exciting, but maybe not something I would write. He might say yelled again, but you add a little bit to it, maybe filled his lungs and with every ounce of oxygen yelled. Still a little too wordy for my taste, but I think you get the point. Or you could just say, if you want to impart some sort of sense of panic, I mean obviously your daughter, the dad's daughter, is missing. He screamed her name, he screamed her name 3 times, something like that. Or maybe you don't want to impart a sense of terror into your character there. Maybe he thinks the girl's playing a game. So maybe we change the word to sang. He sang her name 3 times. You see how that's completely different? That one word, yelled versus sang, completely changes that entire scene, the mood, the energy, the emotions. You might try adding something to yelled. I do this a lot, but maybe like in a panic, comma, yelled. The dad, in a panic, yelled. But again, still screamed would probably be better because you'd only scream if you were panicked. Or you could help guide the reader's mind to where you want them to go. Something like, fearing the worst, picturing his baby girl crying in the back of some pervert's van, yelled her name 3 times or whatever. So anyway, hope this helps. It's kind of a overall understanding of how to use active voice and some examples there on verb upgrades, some options to help with your writing. So these are a couple of active voice and verb upgrades are a couple of key ingredients in the craft, what we call the craft of writing and writing novels. Hope this helps. If you have any questions or would like to comment, I'd love to hear from you. Please let me know. Thank you.